That's right, folks. It's another late night and time for another reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag. And tonight we're pulling out, ooh, what do we hear? Heightened, Episode 1, Ping of the Knee.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. How you doing tonight, Dragon?
Well, we're talking about Just Giggle It. How, what their feeling is there. I'm feeling delightful.
That's right. It's another Tuesday night in the Just Giggle It universe. Okay, folks, right on schedule. We're here to talk about another installment of the Just Giggle It grab bag, and this one is something that I believe it's a long time coming, Dragon. This is something we've kind of had in the pipeline for a while now. Would you like to introduce it to us and tell us who recommended it?
Yes. Well, first of all, Heighten's. I remember ever since this one was posted, these always caught my interest, and I'm so glad someone selected this because I've been dying to talk about the Heightened series. The two episodes that we're gonna definitely get to them both. All thanks. We're gonna start with episode 1 tonight, but down the line we'll be getting to episode 2 at a certain point. But just letting you know, Heightened is definitely on the docket. All thanks to a very special commenter who's made their grand entrance in the comment section below. To give them a shout out here, Louise Brooks1920.
Woo!
Yeah, thank you, Louise Brooks. Been dying to get to this. I mean, it's delightful. We have Demona B also joining us here. Hello, Demona. Just give a quick little shout out there. But yes, all props to Louise Brooks. You know, we all props do to her. It's delightful. We're finally we're finally talking about this. Tiki, overall, what did you think about this one?
Okay, I got to admit, Dragon, I love the premise of this. I'm gonna sound a little sacrilegious here, all right?
Oh god.
I thought this sketch was a little repetitive.
But you're a little repetitive. No, I'm kidding.
There are definitely a lot of things I love about this, especially the ending. The ending, we'll get to that. We'll make a big build to that. But I just thought the whole ping of the knee thing, Dragon, it was a joke that didn't really land with me, all right? Like, and of course, all comedy is subjective. And for me, I don't want to say it didn't land with me. Like, I like the general premise, the whole, like, you're getting older of it all. And there is definitely the amazingly funny moment with Piper Henson in the middle of the episode that I have thumbnailed right here for your viewing pleasure.
I mean, folks, this is just kind of stating the obviously water is wet here, but Piper Henson, very talented. She's definitely the MVP of this.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, something a little special about this. Heightened is the start of an extra show on the. It's not your ordinary Just Giggle It sketch. It's kind of a series that that Joshua Thomas and company said they were going to be doing, and so far they got 2, but they've been busy lately with their new pilot they're working on right now. Perhaps we should shout that out. Their new pilot, Earth Do-Over.
Yeah, they're busy doing a lot of stuff. Now, Dragon, I'm sorry, you're more up to date on this than I am. Is Earth Do-Over their radio drama thing that they're working on, or is that something else?
No, see, that's the Ear Time. I'm blanking on that one. It's a spin-off from the Ear Time.
It's a spin-off of Ear Time, yeah.
Basically, it's like Ear Time with kind of a different pseudonym after, well, kind of Ear Time.
It's basically Ear Time's take on a serial podcast.
The radio drama. So, like, they're bringing radio back, darn it. Look at how talented these guys are. Bringing back radio. I'm seriously very excited.
We'll definitely be covering that when he launches it, by the way. I mean, we'll be all over that like a duck on water. I can't wait for that.
I mean, assuming it still stays up, but we got to talk about the pilot, too, because we do have the pilot from that live stream that he did. So, I assume that they'll be posted, like, as a separate episode in itself, as, like, just kind of having the pilot episode kind of takes a little bit away from the live experience of what the heck's going on. Seriously, when Joshua Thomas put that video up, no one knew what was going on. It was like everyone's like, plug in your headphones. It is like almost like when you're seeing like the
Nightmare I remember it. Yeah,
like that Nightmare on Elm Street. The big 3D gimmick in Freddy's Dead. It was like anyway. What was I getting on? But oh yes, so Earth Do-Over. I believe that's the title. Again, it might be like a title they might be willing to change. I'm not saying they need to. I'm just making sure I'm covering my bearings here. I think it's Earth Do-Over. I'm pretty sure that's what he said in the live stream because we didn't know what the title was until he announced it there. Joshua Thomas, this is going to be very helpful when we get to Heightened episode 2 down the line. By the way, we might shout this out again.
I'm sorry, I don't want to leave this lingering. I didn't dislike this at all. All right, it's just not one of my favorite things that we've done of the grab bag, but there's certainly a lot of potential here, and I can't wait to get to episode 2. And there's like 3 or 4 moments I can pick out that had me laughing a lot. So I think it's kind of a taste issue for me. I'm sorry. I just didn't want to leave that lingering. Like, you know, Joshua Thomas is watching this and he's just like, Tiki didn't, or more importantly, Piper Henson is watching this. It's
How dare
like,
you make Piper Henson sing?
Exactly.
How dare you?
Like, Josh is cool, you know, like he can take it, but I do not want to hurt Piper Henson's feelings. Anyways.
Anyway, but yes, back to Earth, Earth Do-Over. So basically, Josh Thomas took us around the set of the YouTube soundstage, like the YouTube offices, like kind of like the shooting stages of the YouTube building, which we kind of tease in one of the episodes of Heightened. And we got to see them getting ready to shoot the pilot there. And basically, the premise of the pilot, from what we know, it stars Joshua Thomas and Emma Leonard, I believe, who we talked about recently in Waiter Flirting.
Oh yes.
And essentially, it's a really ingenious premise of two angels getting. I have kind of a vague preacher vibe about it in a really good way. It makes me really excited for it because you basically kind of
reminded me of Dogma.
That's the thing. I mean, Dogma absolutely also does that too. Basically, angels in like a non-angelic way. Like I get it again. I don't know this for a fact. They could go the angelic route, but I get a sense they're not going to. I get a sense it's gonna be kind of like the average Joe angels, which is kind of what you have with stuff like Preacher and especially with Dogma. Anyway, so basically two angels are they're trying to pitch God as to like why the earth needs to be rebooted, which the thing I'm my fingers are crossed for, and I hope Joshua Thomas, somebody's listening. I have all the faith in the world they'll do something clever. If not, there's something way more clever than this. I just wanted to address like kind of the nature of reboots in general. Like, ironically enough, since you bring up Dogma, Kevin Smith is doing a Jay and Silent Bob reboot as one of his next movies, and when he's doing that, it's basically going to be a commentary on like kind of how we reboot things in movies. That's kind of what I want to see, like kind of the nature of reboots applied to the human condition. That could be really interesting. I don't know. That's the premise in a nutshell. So very excited for that. We'll definitely be kind of up to date on what we find out about that too. You find folks listening here.
And of course, I honestly doubt that anyone listening live has not heard of Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world. But Draga, do you want to spell that out for anyone who might be just stumbling onto this?
Folks, I implore you, if you want to see quality telling from a fan's perspective of the Joker and Harley Quinn, but not just a fan's perspective. It's kind of a fan's perspective as the jumping off point, mixed into an original web series concept of take the iconic characters of Harley Quinn and the Joker. You take them out of Gotham. They've moved from Gotham to L.A. and they're contending with the real world. It's this amazing series. It's you really got to, folks. It does the characters so well. It's like you're gonna first, if anyone's, for some reason, if anyone's a stranger to this show, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna say, oh, yeah, okay, this is going to be like a fun little comedy sketch. It's going to be like a one-off. Okay, Harley Quinn, the Joker. Okay, put him in like an apartment setting. Ha, ha, ha.
Dragon, famously, when I first heard of the title, this is a funny story. When I first heard the title, I literally thought it was about Harley Quinn and the Joker going on the show, The Real World.
And just to entice you folks, you're gonna watch it, and then basically there's gonna be a moment where you're gonna basically, I won't say when, you have this moment in the first episode if you watch it, where you're gonna see, oh my god, there's so much more here, I gotta see more, and you're gonna be hooked on it, and you're gonna watch the next one, and then the next one, then most importantly, you're gonna say, oh my god, I want more. Good news is you can have more, and that power is within your hands. Very simply, watch what I believe to be the best episode so far, episode 5. Watch episode 5. Watch it a lot. Watch it daily. Watch it on a loop. Watch it with the dog. Watch it with the kids. Watch it with the neighbors. Watch it with the mailman. Watch it with everybody. Send it to them. Tell them to watch it with their respective family members. Or strangers off the street. Just tell them to watch it over and over again. Not repetitively. Don't just refresh the page. You watch it and you go back and watch it and click the video again. Watch it, get those views up to 1 million. Because if those views get up to 1 million, we get more episodes. And how wonderful is that? And folks, the power, take control, to quote a famous masked character from the Batman universe. Take control, make it happen. It is, the power is within the people's hands on this. Guys, you can do it. It'll be amazing. If you love Harley Quinn and the Joker, don't bombard Joshua Thomas. It's like the pizza on the lady's house from Breaking Bad here. It's like, okay, just a little PSA here. Folks, don't bother poor Joshua Thomas with these 2 questions. Everyone ask him like right off the bat, like the 2 questions. I'm going to answer for it right here. 1, don't ask. please, I'm not going to dictate to you. I'm just going to ask you nicely. Please don't ask him what happened to the old Harley. She moved on to greener pastures. Just assume whenever you don't see a Just Giggle It player, they've moved on to greener pastures. Let it lie where it is, folks. Not an insult to you. I'm just saying that that's your answer. They've moved on. Nothing bad. Everything's good for everybody here, and we have an even better. We have another delightful Harley Quinn. Two very great takes on the character, and the only way we're going to find out which one is better is if we get more episodes with our new Harley Quinn, Nicole Dubois. Secondly, folks, again, you want more episodes of Harley Quinn the Joker, watch it get up to 1 million, you get more episodes. So it's like, where's more Harley Quinn? You're working on more Harley Quinn? Well, that's what they're waiting for. The 1 million, the go-ahead after 1 million. They're waiting for the green light, guys. I've seen the script pages. They got they got the plans for it. It's going to be amazing. You can make it happen. Do it, folks. Do it. Service to your fellow man. It'll be awesome.
My God, Dragon, I think that could win like a spoken word monologue award for like best promotion.
Best impromptu promotion.
Right? Like seriously, man, you nailed that.
Okay, but in all seriousness, look at now, folks, as much as we love to talk about Harley Quinn and Joker, honestly, if we're just bored, we can just go back to
like Danny boy.
Folks, believe me, as much as we love to, and like, I don't know, if we're just bored, let's do like a 24-hour marathon, like a telethon for Harley Quinn.
Dragon, that honestly might be something we could talk about. Like, I wouldn't be entirely against that idea.
I know one thing, Tiki. What we got to do is, and real quick, we're going to get right into the episode here, folks. I know we're rambling real quick. You know what we should do when we get to, once the 1 million view count gets really, really close. Like, it's like, let's just say it's within maybe the last 100 or maybe 100,000. I don't know. It's the last stretch. We should do like basically kind of a back-to-back, like a huge podcast like we do with Freakazoid, and basically just do all the Harley Quinn Joker episodes.
Oh, I like that.
Basically either recap it, do live commentary. I don't know. We'll do something.
I'd say commentary because we've talked about doing commentary anyways.
True, but again, it'd be kind of a loophole, I guess, because it's kind of a telethon, like a back-to-back commentary thing. I don't know. Anyway, he hasn't done the rest of them yet, so we don't really know. And the point is, we'll definitely do like either a marathon recap, marathon commentary, or like a live commentary thing. We'll talk to the folks that don't get their views on. I don't know. We'll do something, folks, but you got to get it up there first. You got to meet us in the middle there. Okay, anyway, let's talk about Heightened, Episode 1, Ping the Knee. Directed, written, and edited by the great Joshua Thomas. Guy who loves many hats and just, again, like, piles those hats on.
Dragon, you know who Joshua Thomas is? You know, I think Joshua Thomas will appreciate this reference since he's a SoCal local. You know, on Pirates of the Caribbean, there's the one pirate who he has 1 foot on the dock and 1 foot on the boat, and he's got like all those hats and he's trying to balance himself, and he's like, oh no, all my hats are gonna fall.
You know, I swear to you, there's a hat gag I want to cite right now, but for the life of me, I can't. I don't know why. I can't remember where the hat gag's from, but I know there's a hat gag I want to cite. It's a thing. It's gonna bug the crap out of me because there's a really good hat gag on the tip of my tongue, but I can't.
I hate that feeling, Dragon. I do not envy you.
I remember the scene. The scene is like all of these hats were hung on hooks and everything, like a whole like wall of hats. But I can't remember who was reaching for the hats, what movie it was from.
All right. Well,
okay. If I think of it, I'll say it for a different episode if I can't think of it here. Anyway, okay. So we're talking about Heightened Episode 1. So, and of course, the premise, we got to go over the premise of Heightened. It's very important. So the premise of Heightened is this is a very niche and meta heightened retelling of the Just Giggle It behind the scenes. So basically, this is based on real life for the folks at Just Giggle It. Mainly, I would imagine, again, as a jumping off point, we could explore more characters as it goes down the line, bear in mind. Like Joshua Thomas and Piper Henson in this episode, and later on to get some more kind of other characters. Everyone from Just Giggle will probably make an appearance within this series. But it's like very like if you're not a diehard Just Giggle It fan, or I don't think it's like for you like your first time Just Giggle It kind of watcher. I think it's like if you're familiar with the channel, then you're going to really get a kick out of this. So that's kind of my overall thesis. And again, it's meta comedy. It's right in meta comedy. So that said, let's jump right down the meta rabbit hole. Okay. So we're.
All right, so we get a brushing teeth, getting ready for the party montage with Piper Henson and Joshua Thomas in front of mirrors. Let's see, I believe Joshua's working on his teeth and Piper's like doing her hair.
Well, funny thing about that, Tiki. So Joshua Thomas, he's brushing his teeth and everything, and Henson, she's applying her makeup.
Oh, makeup,
and
right.
We have this like nice upbeat like opening credits. I just want to highlight this here. We have really good opening credits on this series here because it's like on the left of whatever they're doing, like their names right next to their heads. Just very obvious credits 101 thing, but I don't know, there's an upbeat little opening sequence, like they're getting ready for the day. It's really nice. And Joshua Thomas with the hairspray, kind of getting his iconic, the guy has a very iconic kind of hairstyle that of course bleeds into the Joker performance. So it's it's a known hairstyle with Joshua Thomas. You like that we dedicate like a little. I don't know how self-referential that is, like Joshua Thomas.
Right.
Yeah, get the hair just right, So now I had a big observation thing, and this is gonna be a weird thing to talk about, but I think we should, just for the heck of it. And plus, it's the only niche way where it's such a niche and meta show. It's like the only time we're gonna be able to really talk about this. I think we might as well talk about this here. So a thought crossed my mind when I first saw this, when they uploaded this. Thought crossed my mind. Because, again, this is based on real life, but it's a heightened version, as in it's kind of what JustGiggleIt does best, an exaggerated version of reality. And that's kind of what they did looking at themselves here. So, again, this is based on Josh Thomas and Piper Henson. So the thought crossed my mind the first time I watched this, and I just wanted to bring it up here, that I never had thought this before until I saw this. Joshua Thomas and Piper Henson. You ever wonder if there was like a romantic relationship between them?
Ooh, Dragon, here's the thing. I feel like that's something that I don't necessarily even feel comfortable speculating on, because I don't like gossip like that. But I mean, yeah.
Look,
judging by this, I do see there's like some chemistry there. But it's like I look, people's business is people's business. You know what I mean?
That's entirely fair, and don't get me wrong. I want to walk a tightrope here. I want to get comfortable with it. I just want to walk a line of like, here's where I'm getting at with it. Okay, so whether it's actually happening or not, just the point is one that kind of crossed my mind because I never thought of that until this moment. Because the setting is very intimate. Because again, like they're sharing a bathroom. Of course, the whole setting of this video is them kind of sharing a bathroom, and they have very kind of what could seem as coupley dialogue. And again, they have a good rapport. Now, again, whether that's, I'm not going to speculate whether what's going on in real life is going on in real life or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the tricky thing with covering this show in particular.
And that's fair. And again, I just want to say,
because the way I see it, it's like Joshua Thomas and Piper Henson are like the two faces of the channel. You know what I mean? So,
I know, because again, I'm just going to focus on the if here, folks. We don't want to know. We don't want to really gossip or
yeah.
So I just want to make that clear. But I do think it's warranting a discussion for a bit in this with this meta contextual idea here is that, well, for starters, again, I bring it up as a relevant possibility because it makes sense. You have two co-founders who are in so many videos together. They've done so much together. They kind of it's a line of like how much of it's a dynamic versus how much could it blossom into a thing, and again, the co-founders of the whole shebang here. But here's my question: real life or not, it could be that. Or what it could be interesting.
Now I feel like the stupid me from 2 years ago asking Dave Goals about the canon of Gonzo and Camilla's relationship status.
Well, it's not as ridiculous as that. But here's where I'm going with it, folks.
Actually, technically, I asked Gonzo himself about that.
Listen, I know that was egg on your face, folks. So, of course, I think folks are here. This
egg on my face in the best of ways, Dragon. I got to be a punchline of a Muppets joke, all right? And I'm damn proud of that. That's a bucket list achieved, in my opinion.
That's true. I became besties with Colossus, and you got to chastise Gonzo.
No, yeah.
All right. Folks, I'm not joking about that. Well, I had a good interaction with Stefan Kapusik, but anyway, I don't want to. My point is, so here's what I bring it. The reason I bring up all this here is for the meta-contextual nature of this all here. Is it makes you wonder if the heightened version of Joshua Thomas and Piper Henson, maybe either they're roommates or they're an item based on this short here. I think the meta, like the fictional versions of them, might be. Make any sense?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is
it makes sense. Yeah,
that's the thing.
I got you.
I'm just saying, again, like them sharing a bathroom, this whole space here just feels like very like these are people probably in a living space, and of course, just I don't know how meta this is because again, like Harley Quinn and Joker said, very much said in Addison's apartment. Again, it's like maybe it's kind of the common idea of like a living space with Addison / a Piper Henson character, and we just like that as a main setting. Therefore, our characters can interact in a very kind of unified space. So again, I'm not sure how much of that's just by happy
And not
accident or
to
how
mention,
much.
it's just easy to convincingly make a shooting space out of it.
Exactly. So that's just the question I had watching. So I wondered how much of this is just for conveniency versus are they going somewhere with this if they're wanting to re-explore some territory here? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's like it's kind of it bridges into that weird fan fiction kind of territory within kind of this kind of meta, heightened concept. So I'm just saying right off the bat, I have some fun stuff to read into it, kind of heightened. Like you don't know exactly what's real and what's not. It's kind of fun. All right. So again, off of that topic, I just wanted to breach that here for a moment. Let's see. We have. Oh yeah. So again, the point is you do have a sense of history regardless while they're doing these fun mundane things. You just getting ready for the day, and I love like the little touches like Joshua Thomas. He's using the floss pick, and I too use the floss pick. I just love that he's using like the little dental floss. Like the dental floss the toothpick.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
She's adjusting her makeup. They're having this very kind of conversation, like they're going to Kyle's party, and Piper she doesn't want to be left alone with weirdos again. Like Jeff Thomas leaves her to be alone with weirdos. Like when have I done that?
Okay, Joshua Thomas gives what I can describe as a Scooby-Doo.
You didn't recognize what this was from?
No, what was it
oh
from?
My god.
What was it from?
Oh, I love this reference. Okay, so this is so folks. The whole bathroom will they won't they thing. That's a whole that's speculatory. Here's the actual first case of actual heightenedness right here. So after she says Sean, Joshua Thomas, he basically looks the camera through the reflection, I think, and we used the sound effect we used Tim Allen's grunt from Home Improvement.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like they use this grunt at the end of the Home Improvement. Basically, Tim Allen does all sorts of variety of grunts, like basically it's like all the kind of like basically the manly man stuff. And basically they worked that. And I think they used the exact sound effect from the opening credits of Home Improvement because they ended on like a. It's delightful.
Gotcha.
So anyway, so again, that's the first example of okay. Now again, this isn't just real life, folks. We're not just seeing like a documentary here. We're seeing something a little bit, a little more here. We're seeing like okay, now we're starting to make these little other. Basically, we're kind of dialing the absurdity up a little, like step by step, as we do in the Just Giggle It style here. But we're applying that to our creators essentially. So
then we Piper's just like going on about I could tell right away. Like I was just like, oh, this guy is a weirdo.
I love the pipe
to herself.
We have the Piper Henson Sean in that scene, which delights me because we have this thing again. I like it. Really, it's something that's kind of hitting me in the moment right now. So forgive me if I'm getting a little lost in it. I love how we're using mirrors and reflection to convey this. I love it. And again, I'm going to read into this big time here, so forgive me. They're looking into the mirrors, which is a reflection of themselves. So again, a reflection.
Shit, son.
You see what I mean? It's like we're doing this to the reflections. And of course, the series as a whole and the episode as a whole is about
that's some damn good symbolism, yo.
I'd like to think it's intentional. We never really settle on how Auteur Joshua Thomas gets because I think the best example we had of that was A Race Away, and I mean that was pulling from real life a lot, and you got to see him reflected. That was more of kind of like seeing him now versus then. I don't know how much of it's like an Auteur thing with him, like how much of Joshua Thomas's style is in there. It has more kind of that dry kind of kind of sardonic kind of play-by-play with those great comedic points within it. So I guess it's kind of his. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm drifting off here. Yes. So again, the Piper Henson charm, but I found out the guy's a weirdo. Just like, I'm sorry. She specifically says, look, the head tilts what sells it for him. Like, oh, this guy's a weirdo. And of course, Joshua Thomas. I love how kind of Joshua Thomas. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much of it's like playing himself. Or just kind of the actor himself here. He has that kind of that charm about him himself there. Kind of that the guy rolls with the punches here. Where it's just sort of like, okay, cool, no weirds. The guy's just never fazed by anything. At least he knows how to play kind of the calm, cool, and collected kind of co-founder.
Sure.
So no, he's again with all the comedy things that we cite here because also we like to break down the comedy, the influences, and kind of the parallels to other great kind of comedic works and such. Joshua Thomas, I think we've had to have mentioned this before. A bit of a Jerry Seinfeld vibe from Joshua Thomas. Now he's the straight man to the comedy a lot here. And that's definitely what we have in this right here. It says, okay, no weirdos. Uber's here. You ready? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So as they're, do you want to take us through this?
Yeah, as they're getting ready, Piper has something very traumatic, Trek, and to the namesake of the episode, she has a ping.
No, we're not talking about Mulan, folks. She has like a
Oh
little
God,
ping. She has a ping of the knee.
ping of the knee. Here, here. Thank you, ping.
It's great. So, let's see. So we have this. So we have the big ping of the episode as Piper is adjusting her makeup here, and I'm sorry, as she's after she's adjusted her makeup. So it's like Josh. He basically calls him in there like it's an emergency, like something really bad has happened, like one of those real life emergency type situations. And of course, Josh is like, "What? What is it? What happened?" He says, "I felt a ping in my knee." So what's great about this, I don't know if you noticed this, I love we have these. They shot this like a documentary, like one of those docu-comedy series, like The Office or like Modern Family, where we have like these handheld push-in shots, like the reaction shot from your character. It's not just like an over-the-shoulder shots. Like we're like, there's a guy standing to the side that kind of zooms in on Josh Thomas's reaction as if he were Jim Halpert or something. And I thought that was great, just kind of seeing again Josh being the straight man here, is kind of reacting to again the absurdity being dialed up just a little by little as the scene kind of goes on here. So again, this office style.
Now that we're talking about it, Dragon, I got to admit, I think you're right on that there is a sense of escalation to this. And that's ironically, it kind of shares something with the first skit that we ever covered on the grab bag, which is Pretty Flowers.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Pretty Flowers never gets old, folks. It's just we hit it. Our first episode hit it so well with kind of our picks before we had the wonderful fans kind of picking at our kind of data. Don't get me wrong, man. I love what the fans have been picking at because I've been dying to get the height. And I'm just saying, like the first time we just by serendipity we hit like two really a fantastic parody and kind of a fantastic kind of first sketch with Pretty Flowers for Beautiful Woman.
I don't have a dad.
Just phenomenal. That thing you, I'm sorry, I keep thinking of that thing you call your wife. Anyway, sorry, getting back on point here. So, Piper is thrown off here. She's kind of thrown off her equilibrium because she's like, Josh, I've never felt one before, and she's very upset by this ping, this sudden ping. And she sits on the covered toilet. You know, she takes a seat. You know, kind of like as if she's been wounded in combat. Essentially, that's how she. Right. I love that's how she plays all these pings. By the way, like she's been wounded in combat. It's like the psychological damage is like it's like a war wound, and I love it. So we have some great explanation comedy. We don't really get a lot of this, and we've gotten it with the grab bag. I don't think we've gotten a lot of this so far. A lot of explanation comedies, and you having one character explain the situation that only one character perceives and the other one doesn't. Here, where she's explaining again with that just giggle stamp of like kind of cranking up this again the ridiculousness and absurdity in conversation to ridiculousness in the actual world, where. Piper essentially is having a midlife crisis. She feels that she's getting older. Josh, I'm getting older. I'm not 22 anymore. and you know, I'm a few years older than that. That's hilarious. That's a hilarious setup.
Yeah, that's a great line. That's a great line. It's very relatable, Dragon. I'm going on 28 and I'm just like, oh dear God, 30. Like, hold on to my 20s, child. Like, we can do it, 20s. We can stay in our 20s forever. That's where I'm at right now, Dragon. I'm just like, 2 years is forever, right?
Of course, tremendously. This is really good setup for one of the big laughs towards the end of this. So I love her kind of digging our heels into kind of the rock formation here, as it were, the kind of the rock wall of comedy. So I'm not again. She's kind of espousing this midlife crisis, which again, folks, they're mining it for comedy, but a party of wonders. You know, these are real concerns and real things. So my money is on Piper Henson probably like a ping in the knee one day, and she just kind of wrote that in. Well, again, she probably taught.
I would say that it's probable that she did have an overreaction to a ping in the knee that became maybe a running joke or something.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's probably what happened. And Josh Towns turned like, what if we took that and we turned to like an actual doomsday situation or something, like an actual full blown midlife crisis instead of just kind of like, oh, she's it's like one of those. It's like a very Curb Your Enthusiasm, like observational kind of gag. You know, it's like a real life kind of a Seinfeldian Curb Your Enthusiasm-esque kind of pull there.
And Dragon, what midlife crisis, especially from a woman's side of things, does not involve having kids?
Oh boy, yes. So basically, the ping of the knee is making her feel like cricks of the bone and everything, and this ping of the knee is like it's putting everything in perspective. For she's going from I'm having body aches and I don't have a husband, and again, folks, because of that husband thing, and there's no mention of the boyfriend. That's what fueled all my my curiosity through the thing. By the way, it's that just the bathroom saying all that's kind of fueled by what this whole thing's about. So it's kind of it just dawns on you naturally through the thing. Like, wait a minute, why are they sharing a bathroom? I mean, it's like that sort of thing. So anyway, getting back to say, no, my body aches, no husband, and I need to have kids. Like my sister, my siblings have kids. My sister has kids. My brother's gonna have kids. I'm not where I should be. Not where I should be in life. And then she has this hilarious dawning moment here.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
The gag before you, folks. Here, I'm sorry.
She put a baby in me, Josh. And Joshua Thomas is just, very sensibly, just like, oh, Piper, come on.
Like Bob Saget from Full House, like, oh, come on, it's not that bad.
And then what happens, Dragon?
Josh, put a baby in me.
Put a baby in me.
She turns demonic, and she has the red eyes. Again, folks, what you see before, the red eyes and kind of the Exorcist-esque voice. Put a baby in me. It's like I am Zool. It's like one of those things, like, are you the key? It's like one of those, are you the gatekeeper, keymaster thing, practically. And as she's grabbing him all demonically. And I love how just kind of like Shakespearean, not Shakespearean, how kind of like almost soap opera Joshua Thomas gets here. Like, he basically slaps the spiraling Piper hints like, Piper! It's like such a big dramatic reading of Piper, like, snap out of it, you. Mm-hmm. And then she's spiraling, and now she's snapped out of it, and she's back to reality. And says, I'm sorry, Josh. It's the pain of the ping. Yeah, Piper has, again, she's just on fire during all this, folks. She's a jack of all trades. She can play young boys, she can play old mother-in-laws, and she can play, herself in a midlife crisis. And it's still just like the tip of the iceberg with this actress. I tell you, folks, it's amazing. So let's see. Then we have the very rational Joshua here. He's explaining, Piper, basically, my bones crack all the time. I love the demonstration by it. I love the physical comedy here. Basically, he does almost like a tip of the hat gag here. It's like a wave or like ta-da, like one of those motions with his elbow, essentially with his forearm or something to basically make like the bone crack, like a snap or like that, along those lines. And then, of course, we have this is the straightforward kind of explanation comedy here at its finest. Where it says, okay, sure. I love how she plays ball for a moment. I love how she lulls him into that false insecurity. Sure, Josh. Yeah. But that's not ping of the knee, is it? That's click of the bone.
Oh, God.
And then we have, the most well-timed gag in the whole thing, I gotta be honest. This perfect pause goes by. I'm like, folks, if you're in the woods and you see like a comedic pause happen, it's like something like the basket, and you can't even take a picture of it. You just got to experience it. It's like one of those things. Like, oh my god, it's just so well timed. Where it's the silence and the stare between them. Just Josh and I was basically communicating and look. I can't believe this, and her just like, yeah, and it's like just communicating that perfectly. In a look, it's a very domestic. It's like a very domestic look of like, yeah, these two people know each other. It's like, yeah, it's like these are people who have like a long history with each other. And then Josh Thomas, again, very straight man, very kind of Seinfeldian, very just kind of like a straight man in the comedy here, says, "I'm going to the party, and you're ridiculous." Basically, to me, you know what I
love that delivery.
It felt like to me, it felt so much to me like Joshua Thomas's like take on a line like it's basically his version of "You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity." That's kind of Joshua Thomas's take on that. Like, I'm going to the party, and you're ridiculous. It's like if you just and you have my pity, just would have been flawless. But no, I'm kidding.
Oh god.
Let's see. So then we So again, I think so overall.
Facebook message.
Yes. So we get the. I'm sorry. Go on with it. Yeah. Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. So she gets a Facebook message from Sean.
So
God.
this is hilarious. And I love what they did. A little clever trick here. What they did is
I was wondering how they were going to use Poncio Dragon, and man, oh man.
what's great here. What they do with Poncio is that here's the thing. What they're trying to do, Tiki, is they're trying to have every Just Giggle It player play themselves. And bear in mind, we only have 2 episodes to go on here. So from what we have so far, it seems like they're going to be sticking true to that premise. Because I would hope they stick to this, is what I'm saying. Is that Poncio is credited at, obviously he's credited as Sean. He plays Sean. And what they do is like they make Sean look as un-Poncio-like as you can. So they can obscure the fact that Poncio is not playing Poncio. He's playing a different character. They're trying to turn him into a different character, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
See what you. So basically, through like the little bathroom window, like the little kind of transom in the bathroom, that little that little upper window. It's kind of like towards the bottom of the house.
How this whole thing is shot and staged. It's totally like a horror movie.
This is so well directed. I was in awe of how well directed this was. I gotta be honest. I was seriously really impressed with this. So they get the Facebook text from Sean, and as we see Sean outside with a plant. I love that the plant keeps coming back. So we have this little plant in front of us.
Sean! I heard you got a ping!
So we have these seriously, the editing and the camera work here.
Oh yeah, it's magnificent. It really is.
We have this, and this is where the absurdity, folks. Now the dial is basically it's on 11. It's about to be ripped off. It goes from like 10 to 11 in this scene here, where we have this great intensity and this fun absurdity of Joshua Thomas's reaction. Basically, it feels like Crawl Space, Tiki. It feels so much like Crawl Space.
Oh my god.
It's like Skylar White when she's like backing away from Crawl Space. Almost. It's kind of what it is. It has like intensity of like either Walter White going for the money or Skylar White backing up intensely. It's like one of those. It has like that sort of thing where Josh kind of sees Sean and he backs away slowly, and that's where the editing. What they do, Tiki, is like they take out like a frame or something and basically make it like a boom boom as like the camera gets closer to you, like boom boom as like Josh Thomas is like he's just basically running away. Just adds that uneasiness in the storytelling. So as he flees, Piper Henson posts her ping. is again leaves like a wounded soldier. It's like you're like no. Never leave a man behind, that sort of thing. Never, you never leave a Josh, you never leave a Piper Henson behind. Why? So basically, as we see Piper Henson fleeing on the ground, so she's like basically crawling on the ground, and as she's crawling, she's making her pinging situation worse. Like each bone is like it's like Deadpool when he's
walking would probably be the easier solution.
It's like Deadpool fighting Colossus, where he breaks every bone and just comes this like helpless little like invalid. That's kind of what's happened here. As she kind of pings down, like there's a pig in my other knee, in my elbow. It's almost like a Monty Python gag. And then as she's making her way, she's like calling for Josh, help me! It's my pig in my elbow, and she's just becoming increasingly more and more helpless. So Piper Henson, this is kind of honestly, I'm trying to think if there's a better example of Piper Henson communicating Farmiga. But seriously, she's communicating like Farmiga in a hilarious, over the top horror movie, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
She's crawling and she reveal. I love this tactic here. She's revealing her age, her getting closer and closer to her real age to gain sympathy for Josh to come back and save her. It's like, I'm not 22, I'm 30.
God.
And then we have
and of course, Dragon, I love how the 30 thing is the punchline because, as I just mentioned, I'm going through that myself. I'm just like, no, I'm 28. I'm totally still in my mid-20s.
Well, remember, it gets even better than that, Tiki, with the age thing, because what happens is so we have this really strict Tiki. I was so wild by this in the making of this. There's this really great editing trick, and you can see what they're doing. And I thought it was brilliant, where you see that with Henson on the ground. So Warner, when she goes on the ground, she's crawling, but then like there's this thing where she drops, and when she drops, it's a edit. And the reason we have that in there is because Poncio's in the shot as she's crawling away. We have that edit, so then we can have the big reveal. And this is like perfect horror movie editing. I thought it was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whereas with that edit, that strategic edit, that's why it's there. So basically, we can have this great kind of surprise, and I just love how this plays here. We see again Sean, with like the tuft over hair and like with the plant. And I love that he brought the plant in with him.
It's like he somehow slides in through the window into the bathroom.
And then basically, I love that he peers like out of like the corner of the bathroom. That's the thing that kills me about it. Like, it appears from the corner of the bathroom, says hi, and as he says hi, then we have the last line, the most Farmiga as possibly. I can't think about that. Possibly the most Farmiga delivery we've ever had from Pipe Benson, possibly up to this point. Here, it says she screams at the top of her lungs, "I'm 32."
Oh God!
32, I'm 32. Ah! this and then basically Josh Knows plugs more Heightened than basically the series premise. Essentially what we did at the top here, and the whole kind of Just Giggle It cast, down the line for retellings of their day-to-day events and such.
Delightful.
So yeah.
All right.
That's Heightened.
Okay. Any final thoughts, Dragon?
Well, I thought this Heightened episode 1. It's a great novel show concept for diehard JGI fans. Now, it's not for everybody, but again, if you're the audience for it, I think you're going to find it very fun and very meta. It showcases Joshua Thomas Piper Hintz's dynamic very well. And again, I like that. I love. Yeah, I do. Tiki and I, we got a fondness for meta stuff. We do. Of course, it can be really fun when you do it right. And I think they did it right here. I thought they did like a really smart way where, again, they're paralleling their
the
own...
Muppets is like one of my great love affairs in life, and they're like the king of meta comedy.
I'm saying, Muppets, Deadpool, various great examples of meta comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying those two probably the two most prominent to cite in the moment here. But of course, you got Ferris Bueller.
I feel like both have made like Muppets is as personal to me as Deadpool is to you.
Well, look, I'm a huge Muppet fan, too.
I know you are, but I have the Dave Goles thing, motherfucker. You don't.
I was kind of being spirited, but okay.
I'm just saying, if you want to compare Muppet fandom.
Right. Anyway.
Right. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was mean-spirited.
Anyway, wait, let me see. But yeah, I love how they parodied themselves in this meta narrative here, where again they're doing the Just Giggle It style with the people of Just Giggle It. And I think that's just such a novel concept, and they did such a great job. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. It's like it's the Just Giggle It style in a nutshell. In kind of it's like the perfect home movie in a way. What it is. So I had a really good time with it. I liked it. I like the next one more. I'll say that much just right out the gate here. I think, but I have other reasons for liking it. But this is great. I thought this is good though.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I feel like the main thing I have is, as I said, the ping thing is a little bit repetitive. But as we're talking through it, Dragon, I think I like it. I think I gained a bit of an appreciation for it that I didn't necessarily have before, because what I really like, what we really kind of highlighted, is the fact that it does have that classic sense of escalation that, of course, is found in some of our favorite sketches, a la Pretty Flowers. So, all right. But yeah, I think that's about it, folks. And like Dragon said up the top, we're not going to be covering Heightened back-to-back, but we will be getting to Heightened within our fan request season. Episode 2, there's still another one, and that one has to do specifically with the Joker and Joshua Thomas's take on playing the Joker, so that should be very interesting once we get to it. All right, and that'll do it, folks. Go ahead.
Real quick, of course, if anyone, of course, with the grab bag, you folks,
sure.
You give us suggestions and we'll add it to the docket for this season. It's fan-controlled season, folks. So far, we have a couple down the pipeline that are, of course, basically, we don't want to just kind of do the same person like twice in a row. I'll admit that, but you're definitely given that kind of, unless there's like a huge demand by various people for the same thing. Obviously, we'll be getting to that one immediately next. But we got some down the pipeline. By all means, folks, add it. You control how long the season is. Just write down either in the comments section here and like the video comments section, if anywhere. Just Giggle community page, and we'll find it. We'll look for it. Just we'll add it to the doc, and we'll give it to you. We'll shout you out. We'll say, "Oh my God, we wouldn't be doing this right here if not for this person." We love to. Again, Louise Brooks1920. She excellent job. recommending this. And again, we gave us an excuse to talk about something we've been dying to talk about. So again, it's the fans just you can give us some gold here. We've been kind of mining the gold, so to speak. We wouldn't have found that nugget if not for the delightful prospectors that are the Just Giggle It families. Not even our fans. I mean, they're fans of Just Giggle. We're happy enough to have just kind of like the little vein going from Just Giggle It to us
the
talking
way I
about
see it,
Just
Dragon,
Giggle
is we're almost kind of like ambassadors. I'd feel like that's a good word for us.
Folks, we're just the ambassador. Now we're not in anyone's pocket, but we like good stuff, and Just Giggle is some of the best stuff. It's kind of the best way of putting it. We have such polite people
good
here.
Stuff.
Just to highlight some of the nice people. Of course, we mentioned Louise Brooks1920. I also want to highlight Demona B because when you're in your little sneezing fit, Demona B has said "bless you." So our fans, the folks, the fine folks here tonight are so nice. They're even saying Gizzentight, God bless you per sneeze here. That's polite. And I appreciate that, folks. We don't need to highlight people who say the people who say God bless you and Gizzentight. It's a dying art form these days. You gotta thank this people. It's like little pleasantries go a long way. Okay, folks. So that's
also Dragon. Wait, really quick. I need to
Yes.
make this observation because it's on the tip of my tongue. All right.
Okay.
The way you said stuff, the way you described Just Giggle It is really good stuff. You know what it reminds me of?
What does it remind you of?
It reminds me of the way that Walt Disney used to say, and we've got some really interesting things that we're gonna see. The way that he would emphasize the things thing.
Right.
All right. You take a very simple word and just spice it up, man. Good job. All right, go ahead.
All right, folks. That said, that does it. That does it for the grab bag. This installment. We'll see you next time for the next reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag.
Josh put a baby in me.